my general area of research, specifically around AI augmentation, how do I take somebody and their knowledge, and then how do I incorporate into decision making? I was reading a lot of different books. I was digesting articles, and then I kept my own notes like in a notepad. Sometimes I would keep in an Excel sheet, but I thought to myself, what if all of this was available when I was trying to make a decision? I subscribe to what Ray Dalio says. I just came up with a name called Finciples. Think of it as I have downloaded principles from 10 different people. I said, what are the top 10 investment principles of Buffett, Peter Lynch, and Dalio? What are their insights? What do they think about? And Jim Cramer, Kathy Wood. I have somebody who manages funds for me. And I said, okay, how do you go about doing things? The idea is that, look, you read a lot, you listen to a lot of people, you come up with your own theories, but some of them is borrowed from other people. So you end up building your own principles. And the inflection point with all of these LLMs and Gen AI is that it is not very quantitative. We're just not looking at a 52-week ratio, beta, or volatility, or a specific number. It could be, okay, I need to have a strong moat. Or it could be that, the management team is a good management team. How do you make that out? It's a very subjective thing a human decides. So thought is, what if I ratify all of these things? It could be any publicly traded stock. I send the data based on what it is currently trading at, and then send the data and take a judgment call upon all of these principles, and then go across 2 or 3 different LLMs and come up with a combined score. So this is, in a way, helping a CIO research better, and they may have their own theses or they may have their own principles. So it is an aid for them to come up with better data and better thought process. Over time, how about we leave knowledge for way beyond when you're not there? Charlie Munger is a great example, right? So I could read his book all day long, Poor Charlie's Almanac, but what if it was available, the principles of what he said while I'm trying to apply to a stock, right? So
Yeah.
that's really what I'm trying to work on. And then again, ratify it across models and come up with. Then I'm also trying to triangulate all of these things to say, what is this particular stock? Like, how did this happen? So this is a test data set. Like, how are people thinking and how are you following? In a certain case, you may want to follow these 2 people. Like, how do you then build a community of people that think similar to you? Then I'm also thinking, these are exploratory right now, is that I could take a pass at, here is the principle. I could do a one-click publish to social media. So these are made up characters, but it could be you.
Investment principles focus on disruptive innovation, high growth tolerance, thematic concentration.
It is using your principles and your guidelines. Really, as a good investor, what do you want to do? What if Ben Graham and Jim Cramer both agree on a particular stock? Hey, maybe you've hit jackpot. And like I said, this is one space where I'm trying to apply human thinking into decision making. And I have a couple of other areas that I'm working on. This really came out of something I observed, and then I had my checklists and spreadsheets. I'm like, okay, what do I do with all these things? Can I really write some code behind this? There is about 70 people with the platform. And I've talked to a couple of people from Merrill Lynch and JP Morgan. But for them, I really feel they already have products. You talked about Schwab or Vanguard. Most of the times, those advisors are pushing something else. So they may not necessarily do that. But then somebody who I work with, there are 3 people. There is a CIO and there is 2 other people that help him. They're buying things back and forth. They have a fund with about 50 public stocks. I'm not taking away anything that you're doing, but I'm saying that your own same principles can be used, and it will come and tell you, you say yes or no, and over time I will learn about you. So it is really a agent or a assistant that is going to help you. And as voice become better, you can just talk to it to say, why are you saying this? Why are you not saying this? And when was the last time I looked at this principle? Can you tell me more? So as I aggregate more data about the recommendations that you make, and oh, by the way, did it work or not? So I'm trying to back propagate some of this. Nobody's able to predict all of the things that are going to happen. But how did I go about this decision? So that's essentially the idea. So it was just me walking around and thinking about it. And my initial skeletons were like me writing down a lot of these things on notebooks. I read this book called Checklist Manifesto.
You need to meet the right people, but it is a great tool and it's really well designed. It's very thoughtful. I'm happy to keep an eye out and put you in touch with people because I actually really like it. I think what you're doing is fancy. I also think it's cool and clever. Can I give you a public stock and can you show me what it would do with it?
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw one out. Trade Desk, TTD.
All right. So is there a particular person you want to try?
So I guess that's what I'm glad we're doing this because that's what I want to understand. So you're saying you would put in a stock and then you would have to pick the person.
So the other way to think about it is you can build your own principles. You could say, this is Priya Malani's principle.
Do a test. I don't care who we pick.
Okay, sure. Let's say Munger, right? And then I'll say OpenAI and then I'll run it. It'll take a minute to run because I'm running multiple models in the back.
Sure, sure. No, that's okay. I'm actually glad we're doing this. I don't think I understood fully. So it's always
Yeah.
nice to have a demo. And
So here is what just ran and came. This is what Buffett and Munger are saying. Here is a summary. Again, this is the data. I picked up 10 principles to say what would Buffett and Munger say about any stock. They want consistent earnings, economic resilience, financial health, etc. So I guess if you were to ask Buffett, he's not recommending to buy TTD.
yeah, this is amazing.
So maybe let's try Jim Cramer. So we'll try to ask, what does he say? You can see that the rating is slightly different. And so here is the other thing that we did, AI advisor. I'll just ask AI and let's see. I'm not going to tell you anything. You come up with principles and you also rate it on your own. Okay. So now it is saying that it came up with these 8 principles on its own. It is its own 8 principles. And then based on that, it is saying 65. So you have to make a call. End of the day.
So this is a tool for financial advisors.
Yeah. So initial thought is about the financial professionals.
Yeah.
And there is an education aspect of it. And you could be in college or self-learning.
No, it's really impressive. I think it's a cool idea. I think a lot of people will be into this. You probably could sell this, I think, to a big broker dealer. I actually really think you could. Yeah, I could even see you sending this to Robinhood because they probably do have a more intelligent back end for their recommendation. This could be the recommendation engine for them, which is pretty cool, actually. That would be a very interesting idea just from, monetization.
Yeah. A few thoughts that I have, if people don't want to share their principles and if they want to publish, import from community, let's say Priya's tip is worth a cent. And if millions of people, buy that advice, hey, sure, why not? That's a good way to make passive money.
Yeah. No, I get the concept, and the fact that you incorporated social is pretty very thinking into the future. It's pretty impressive. And I like how it's designed again. I just want to say that it's super, super easy to navigate, and I'm big on UX, so I really like it.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that.
It's a ton of progress. Amazing.
Yeah, thank you for playing along.